What is going on, YouTube people? Today, hot take. Is the modern hobby actually good for kids? I think you can make the argument it might be. Now, let me get some prefaces out of the way here. I don't have kids. I'm not a parent. I'm looking at this from the outside looking in. Maybe my thoughts on this would be different if I did have kids. But I don't have kids of my own, never have, don't plan on it. I am not talking about the repack breaking gamification of the hobby. So this little section, right here, we're going to get some more run out of this graphic that I made about a week or so ago. I am not talking about this portion. I would love to see, and I honestly don't know. Maybe it's an epidemic, maybe it's not. I would love to know what Whatnot and Fanatics Live numbers look like for the ages of people buying into breaks, whether it's traditional breaks, repacks, whatever the case might be. I would love to know that side of the business. How much of the business is actually being sold under 18? My guess is it's actually probably not that large of a percentage. I think most people buying into the gamification of the hobby are more 18 and above. That's just from an outsider looking in, but that's the sense that I get. Now, where you see a lot of chatter online are these two sections here. I've talked about this before. When we grew up, I'm in my mid 40s, this was us. We had our binder, we ran to the corner, we hid under the pine trees, we met our friends there from the neighborhood, we brought it to lunch with us at school. We traded our singles, we tried to rip each other off for Jose Canseco rookie cards, the whole 9 yards. Values were there, but it wasn't on steroids like it was now. Now you hear about this section a lot. And this section could be a wide range, but specifically you hear a lot around the idea of, oh my God, these kids with their Zion cases, they have $500 slabs, they have $1,000 kabooms. This is ridiculous. I can't believe that this is the world that we live in now. How could kids be running around with expensive cards like this? This is terrible. This is the worst thing in the world. This is the section that I want to focus on. I disagree with that. I have seen going to shows over the years, especially my local shows. And I learned a long time ago when I first got back in, during the pandemic era and everything was super crazy. I would have kids come up to me at trade nights, like Card Collector 2 trade nights, national trade nights, or whatever. And they would be, I don't know, I'm terrible at judging age on kids, but early teens, like maybe even 12, 13, 14 years old, that range. And they would be like, hey, can I look at your stuff? And in your mind, you get that preconceived notion of like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be nice, kid. Here, you can look at my Zion case. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a couple of minutes and flip through yours, do you the courtesy, whatever. And you very quickly learn that the kids have better stuff than you do. I remember I was humbled very quickly flipping through like a 13-year-old kid's Zion case at a trade night, and he had high-end, like this is in the pandemic, 5K plus Luka cards in his Zion case. And I went, oh, okay. And the longer that you do it, the more trade nights and stuff that you go to, the more that you interact, the more you see that sort of thing. I truly believe the modern flipper culture that we see in kids, a lot of people my age might not like it, but I actually think it's kind of good. And that maybe that's a hot take, maybe it's not, I don't know. And I don't care listen, I get people, oh, that's just because their parents gave them all the money to buy the cards. And maybe in some cases that's true. But I've seen these kids over the years, because I see the same kids that, I mean, now they're grown up. They're almost, 18 years old. But over the last 5 years, I've seen these kids start with next to nothing and flip their way into mid to high end stuff. I have watched kids, like legit 13, 14-year-old kids, build businesses at that age, setting up as dealers as card shows now. And they have better inventory than I ever would. They're bigger hustlers than I ever would be. They're bringing in more money in cards than I probably am as a content creator by a lot. I don't know that I understand the problem with that and why people get so pissed off about it. Is it just because it's different? Because kids today collect different than we did? We had binders, they have Zion cases. We all chased value to some degree or another. It wasn't the end all be all like it is now. It's more amplified. But we still cared about that. The numbers are just bigger now. And think about it from this perspective. And once again, I don't have kids. This is just what I see and what I hear from, people at work and in day-to-day life. Kids today are absorbed in the social media. And I'm not saying that in cards you're not absorbed in the social media. We're obviously on social media right now. But they're stuck trolling Instagram, YouTube, etc., not interacting with other kids, not building actual social skills. Kids in the hobby are out there learning how to negotiate, having one-on-one interactions, learning how to communicate with people face-to-face, learning how relationship building matters, learning about the value of things, learning about how to run a business, how to make money, how not to make money, learning I would argue that kids that are in cards, flipping, etc., doing the whole thing, buying raw to grade, doing it all, building it up, probably learn more from their freshman year of high school to their senior year of high school doing that than they're probably learning in school in regards to just actual day-to-day things that matter. I know a kid locally that has built up a massive Pokemon business. Flipping. Started with a little tiny bit. Dad helped him out a little bit. And now he is off and running on his own and has been for years. I know a kid that when I first started in cards, he was probably 14, 15 years old. Actually, there's two kids that kind of fall into this category. I would see him at local trade nights and stuff. Big into Bowman baseball. They would flip, both these kids would flip first Bowman prospects left, right, and center. At the same time, they would take some of their profits, reinvest it back into getting more stuff, and also buy vintage baseball for their PC. Kids just collect different these days. I've talked about it before. It's not the same anymore. They don't want a binder of a base set of tops like we did. They want a Zion case full of kabooms and downtowns and whatever. And yeah, all that stuff might go down in the future. The same thing happened to us. Once again, the numbers are different. Can they get over their head? Are there limits? Can it get out of control? Yes, but that's literally anything in life. They could be doing the same thing at home with video games, social media, Twitch, Minecraft, whatever, to insert whatever thing you want here. At least in cards, they're learning real life skills. They're learning how to negotiate, how to communicate, money, budgeting, time, all that sort of stuff. They don't even learn that stuff in high school. And I don't know why people, I mentioned it earlier, I don't know why people get so hung up on kids having expensive cards. In a lot of cases, just based off what I've seen, people jump to the conclusion that the parents bought it or gave them the money for it. From what I've seen, a lot of the kids have actually hustled their way to that stuff. Here's the one thing that I think we lose sight of. Kids have near unlimited time. We don't. Us in our 30s, 40s, 50s, which is the bulk of my audience, we have, in most cases, have jobs. We have families. We have to take our kids to card shows, to practices, on vacation. We have to work all day. We have to come home and fix dinner. We have to cut the grass. We have to wash the cars. We have to do this. We have to do that. We don't have all day to be sitting on eBay and looking at cards to find clean raw cards. We don't have a full Saturday to spend at the card show digging through every single table, trying to find something that's mispriced, trying to find clean raw, trying to find a PSA 9 that maybe you could crack out and send to get a PSA 10. Maybe flipping cards left, right, and center with your friends all day. Slowly building up the collection and the bankroll. We, as middle-aged adults, don't have that luxury anymore. Kids do. And kids are hustlers. Kids run circles around us when it comes to that stuff. And they play up the kid angle. Some of them are super smart about it. They know exactly what they're doing. But watch the kids run around trade night. They run circles around us. I get it. We don't want them heading over into this direction. This right here, breaks, repacks, etc. The one thing I would love to see is an 18-year-old limit on buying into breaks, whether it's traditional wax breaks or repack breaks. I would love to see an 18-year-old limit on that. I don't think it's ever going to happen. That would be the one thing that I would like to see. Because if you're over 18, if people want to degen and gamble their life away, that's up to them. I don't know that I have some big, huge problem of kids playing in this area. In the I need room bro, flipper culture, whatever the case might be. Because a lot of these kids actually do collect. They just collect differently than we do. It's never going to look like this. It never is. Maybe for a select few, maybe more so on the TCG side and Pokemon. But generally speaking, kids today are not going to collect the same way we did. You do see it more in Pokemon, but not in sports cards. I don't know. Am I like wrong and off base here? Am I just not seeing this through the correct lens because I don't have kids? If that's the case, feel free to correct me in the comments down below. Like I said, I am looking at this from an outsider. But if I had kids, I would imagine I would rather see my kid run around on a card show on Saturday, hustling, negotiating, flipping, doing deals, than sitting at home, staring at Instagram, sitting on Minecraft, sitting on whatever, all day long doing nothing. That's just me. Maybe I'm completely off base. I'm sure you will tell me down below. That's all I got. Catch you boys and girls in the next one. Peace.